The huge alien ship appeared above Earth without any warning. It was bigger than any building humans had ever made. The ship looked like it was made of dark glass and metal. It floated in space like a giant black diamond against the stars. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Earthship called Defiant. He looked at the alien ship through the big screen. Most people would be scared. Jake was not scared. He was curious. He had been in space for 20 years. He had seen many strange things, but this was his first time seeing aliens. "Captain, they are trying to talk to us," said Lisa Grant. She was the communications officer. Her job was to handle all messages that came to the ship. Lisa was good at her job. She could speak 5 different Earth languages. The main screen started to flicker. Then it showed something that made everyone on the bridge stop what they were doing. An alien creature appeared on the screen. It had 4 arms and looked like a big lizard that could walk on 2 legs. Its skin was green and had scales. Its eyes were yellow and very bright. The alien creature started to speak. Its voice was loud and deep. It sounded angry and proud at the same time. "Stupid humans of the 3rd planet from your sun," the alien said. "I am High Commander Vex Thera of the Great Galactic Empire. We have been watching your kind for 1 full year. We think you might be useful to us." Captain Amy Rodriguez stepped forward. She was Earth's best person for talking to new people from other worlds. Amy had studied how to deal with aliens for many years. She had read every book about first contact with other species. But all those books said aliens would be friendly. This alien did not seem friendly. "Thank you for watching us," Amy said with a small smile. "1 whole year must have been very boring for you." The alien commander did not understand that Amy was making fun of him. He kept talking in his loud, angry voice. "The Great Empire needs workers. Your people will work for us on planets far from here. You have 7 days to get ready. If you fight us, we will destroy you with our powerful weapons and ships." The alien turned off the communication. The screen went black. The bridge was quiet for a few seconds. Then something unexpected happened. Captain Morrison started to laugh. It was a small laugh at first. Then it got bigger. Soon, everyone on the bridge was laughing. "Did he really say they watched us for only 1 year?" asked Ben Carter. He was the second in command. Ben had tears in his eyes from laughing so hard. "And they think we are good for digging holes and carrying heavy things?" said Kate Sullivan. She was the chief engineer. Kate was laughing so hard, she had to hold on to her control panel. Admiral Morrison pressed a button to talk to all Earth ships and the planet below. "This is Admiral Morrison to all Earth defense ships in ground control. We just got what looks like a war declaration from something called the Galactic Empire. I am sending you the recording now. My first thought is that these aliens have no idea what they just did." On Earth, President Laura Davidson was in a meeting with the most important military leaders. They were in a big room under the ground in Colorado. The room had screens on all the walls. The screens showed every Earth ship in space and every important military base on the planet. "Show me the message again," the president said to General Marcus Taylor. He was the top military officer for all of Earth's forces. They watched the alien commander's message 3 times. Each time they watched it, more people in the room started to smile. "Ma'am," said General Taylor, "I think these aliens made a big mistake." "What kind of mistake?" asked the president. "They studied us for only 1 year. In 1 year, they probably saw some of our movies, some of our news, and some of our normal daily life. But they did not see what humans do when someone threatens them." Secretary of Defense Patricia Kim pulled up information on her tablet. "Our space monitoring stations have been watching their ships since they arrived. We count about 200 ships of different sizes. Their weapons look like energy beams and their ships have force fields to protect them." "How advanced are they?" asked the president. Patricia smiled. "Their technology is about 50 years behind ours, maybe more. It looks like they have been using the same weapons and ships for a very long time. They probably work fine against species that are still learning how to fly in space." Meanwhile, in space, Captain Nick Torres was commanding a special Earth ship called Shadow. His ship was invisible to most sensors. The aliens could not see him. Nick and his crew were watching the alien ships very carefully. "Captain," said Grace Palmer. "I am detecting something strange from their main ship. It looks like they have machines that make their minds more powerful." "What do you mean?" Nick asked. "They can control the thoughts of other species. That is probably how they won against other aliens. They make their enemies too scared to fight back." Nick nodded. "Get all the information you can. Command needs to know everything about these ships." Back on Earth, Dr. Paul Henderson was in his lab. He was the top expert on alien life. Even though no one had ever found aliens before, Paul had spent his whole career getting ready for this day. His lab was deep underground. It had the most powerful computers on Earth. "This is fascinating," said Dr. Helen Brooks. She worked with Paul and studied how different species behave. "Look at how the alien commander acted. He followed a script. He probably uses the same words and the same threats on every planet he visits. Like a salesman," said Paul. "But instead of selling something, he is threatening people." "Exactly. And look at this." Helen showed Paul some information on her computer. "We found records of 17 different planets that this empire conquered. They use the exact same method every time. Big scary ships, loud threats, then attack if the planet does not give up." Paul looked at the information. "So they expect us to either surrender right away or fight them the same way everyone else did." "Right. But we are not everyone else." In another part of the underground base, Colonel Ryan Murphy was looking at pictures of the alien ships. Ryan was in charge of military intelligence. His job was to figure out how enemies thought and what they might do next. "These aliens are bullies," Ryan told his team. "They pick on species that cannot fight back. They use fear to win before the fighting even starts." "What happens when they meet someone who is not afraid?" asked one of his officers. Ryan smiled. "That is what we are about to find out." The next morning, President Davidson called a meeting with leaders from every country on Earth. The meeting was broadcast to everyone on the planet. Billions of people watched as their leaders talked about the alien threat. "My fellow humans," the president said, "yesterday we received our first contact with an alien species. Unfortunately, they did not come in peace. They came to make us their slaves." The room was quiet. Everyone was listening carefully. "But I have good news. These aliens made a very big mistake. They think they know what humans are like. They think we will be easy to defeat. They are wrong." The president smiled. "In the next 6 days, we are going to show the galaxy what humans really are. We are going to show them why threatening Earth was the worst mistake they ever made." Around the world, humans began to laugh. Not because they were not taking the threat seriously. They laughed because they knew something the aliens did not know. When humans are threatened, they do not just fight back. They get creative. And when humans get creative, amazing things happen. Within 6 hours of the alien threat, Earth was doing something that had never happened before in the galaxy. Instead of panicking or getting their armies ready right away, humans did what they always did when something interesting happened. They started asking questions. Dr. Paul Henderson called his best scientists to meet at the Underground Research Center in Denver. The building was hidden deep under the mountain. It had the most powerful computers and the smartest people on Earth. Paul had been waiting his whole life for aliens to visit Earth. He just wished they had been friendlier. "Look at this," said Dr. Helen Brooks. She was pointing at a big screen that showed everything they had learned about the aliens in just 12 hours. "These creatures follow the same pattern every time they attack a new planet. Same threats, same timeline, same words." Helen had studied how different groups of people behave for 20 years. She could look at the way someone acted and tell you how their whole society worked. The aliens were easy to understand because they were very simple. "They are like robots," Helen continued. "They do the same thing over and over. They probably conquered other planets because those planets reacted the same way every time." Colonel Ryan Murphy walked into the room carrying a thick folder. Ryan was in charge of learning about enemies. He had spent the whole night studying the alien ships with his team. "I have good news and bad news," Ryan said. "The bad news is they have 200 ships and weapons that can destroy cities. The good news is their technology is really old." Ryan put pictures of the alien ships on the big screen. "Look at these energy readings. Their weapons are powerful, but they take a long time to charge up. Their shields are strong, but they use a lot of power, and their ships are big and slow. Doctor, Henderson looked at the pictures carefully. How old do you think their technology is? At least 50 years behind us, Ryan answered. Maybe more. It looks like they built all these ships a long time ago and never improved them. Why would they? If the same tricks work on every planet, why change? While the scientists were working on Earth, Captain Nick Torres was flying his invisible ship around the alien fleet. The ship was called Shadow because no one could see it. Nick and his crew were taking pictures and recording everything the aliens did. Captain, said Grace Palmer, I found something interesting about their main ship. Grace was the best scanner, operator in the Earth fleet. She could find things that other people missed. What did you find? Nick asked. They have special machines that make their minds stronger. I think they can control what other people think and feel. Nick thought about this. That would explain how they conquered so many planets. If you can make your enemies too scared to fight, you win without firing a shot. But Captain, Grace said with a smile, the machines only work on simple minds. Our brains are too complicated. The aliens probably do not know that yet. Grace was right. Human brains were different from other species. Humans could think about many different things at the same time. They could be scared and brave at the same time. They could be serious and silly at the same time. The alien mind control machines were built for simple brains that could only think one thing at a time. Back on Earth, President Davidson was meeting with the leaders of every country. They were all connected by video screens. Some leaders were calling from the middle of the night, others were calling from their morning breakfast, but everyone was awake and paying attention. We have learned a lot about our visitors, the president said. They are not as powerful as they want us to think. They are bullies who pick on weaker planets. Prime Minister Johnson of Britain was the first to speak. What do you recommend we do, Madam President? We are going to do something they have never seen before. We are going to turn their own plan against them. General Taylor stood up and walked to a big map of the solar system. The aliens expect us to do one of two things, either surrender immediately or gather our military ships and try to fight them in space. And we are not going to do either of those things, the president said. Defense Secretary Patricia Kim smiled. We are going to do something much more creative. At the same time, something amazing was happening all over Earth. Regular people were volunteering to help fight the aliens. But they were not volunteering to be soldiers. They were volunteering to use their regular jobs to help. Captain Ron Baker was the captain of a luxury cruise ship called Star Princess. The ship was designed to take rich people on vacations around the solar system. It had restaurants, swimming pools, and entertainment centers. It was not built for fighting, but Captain Baker was talking to Earth Defense Command anyway. My ship can carry 5,000 people, he told them. It has really good computers for navigation, and it is fast. What can we do to help? The answer surprised him. We want you to keep doing exactly what you do. Just do it in a different place. All over the solar system, humans were making the same offer. Cargo ship captains, mining operators, research teams, and even tourist guides were asking how they could help. Earth's response was simple. Keep doing your jobs, but coordinate with everyone else. Dr. Sarah Martinez was in charge of a mining operation on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Her team used giant machines to dig ice and turn it into water and oxygen. The work was dangerous and required very smart people who could solve problems quickly. Command wants us to move our operation, Sarah told her team. They want us to position our ships between Earth and the alien fleet. But we are not soldiers, said her assistant, Mike Chen. We are miners, Sarah smiled. That is exactly why they want us there. The aliens do not know what mining equipment can do. She was right. Human mining equipment could move asteroids, create gravity fields, and build structures in space faster than military engineers. But the aliens had only studied humans for 1 year. They had never seen human industry in action. Meanwhile, Dr. Jennifer Walsh was leading a research mission near Saturn. Her team was studying how planets formed by looking at Saturn's rings. They had equipment that could scan entire star systems and computers that could predict how objects moved through space. Earth Command wants us to stay exactly where we are, Jennifer told her team. But they want us to point our scanners at the alien fleet instead of Saturn's rings. Can we do that? asked her research partner, Dan Foster. Our scanners are designed to track millions of tiny objects moving at high speed, Jennifer said. Tracking 200 alien ships should be very easy. On Earth, the most important meeting was happening in a small room with just 5 people. President Davidson, General Taylor, Secretary Kim, Dr. Henderson, and Admiral Morrison were planning Earth's response. Let me make sure I understand this plan, the president said. Instead of fighting the aliens with our military, we are going to fight them with our entire civilization. Exactly, said Admiral Morrison. They studied our military and our governments, but they never studied our truckers, our farmers, our teachers, or our shopkeepers. Dr. Henderson pulled up a chart on his computer. Human society is different from other species. Most aliens have simple social structures. Rulers at the top, soldiers in the middle, workers at the bottom. But human society is a network. Everyone is connected to everyone else. And when you threaten a network, General Taylor said, the whole network responds. Secretary Kim was looking at reports from all over the solar system. In the past 18 hours, we have had 3 million volunteers. They are not volunteering to be soldiers. They are volunteering to help however they can. What kind of help? Asked the president. Everything. Restaurant owners want to feed our crews. Artists want to design camouflage. Teachers want to help with communications. Children want to send messages to the aliens telling them to go away. Admiral Morrison laughed. The aliens think they are facing the Earth military. They have no idea they are facing all of humanity. The plan was simple but brilliant. Earth would not fight the aliens the way the aliens expected. Instead, every human in the solar system would become part of one giant defense system. Cargo ships would carry sensors. Research vessels would coordinate attacks. Mining ships would create obstacles. Even passenger ships would become part of the network. But the most important part of the plan was something the aliens could never understand. Humans were not just defending their planet. They were defending their way of life, and humans would do anything to protect the things they loved. Late that night, President Davidson spoke to the world one more time. Tomorrow, our alien visitors will see what happens when you threaten Earth. They will learn that humans are not just another species to be conquered. We are something they have never encountered before. She paused and smiled. We are a species that turns every challenge into an opportunity. And they just gave us the biggest opportunity in human history. Around the world, humans went to sleep. That night, not with fear, but with excitement. Tomorrow was going to be very interesting. On the 6th day of the alien ultimatum, High Commander Vexathera was sitting in his command chair feeling very confident. In a few hours, the humans would surrender, or his fleet would destroy them. He had done this same thing 17 times before. It always worked the same way. Commander, said his communications officer, we are receiving a message from the humans. Vexathera expected to see human military leaders begging for mercy. Instead, he saw a middle-aged human man sitting in a comfortable chair. The human was wearing casual clothes and drinking something hot from a small cup. He looked completely relaxed. Hello, Commander Vexathera, the human said with a friendly smile. I am Dr. Frank Williams. I represent President Davidson and all the people of Earth. I hope you have had a pleasant week in our solar system. Vexathera was confused. This was not how conquered species were supposed to act. You will surrender now, or we will destroy your planet, he said in his most threatening voice. Oh, we are not going to surrender, Dr. Williams replied cheerfully. But we are also not going to fight you the way you expect. You see, we have spent the week learning about you and your empire. The screen behind Dr. Williams showed a detailed map of all the planets the aliens had conquered. It showed their battle plans, their ship movements, and even personal information about their commanders. Fascinating history you have, Dr. Williams continued. 17 worlds conquered using exactly the same strategy every time. Very efficient. But you know what is interesting? You have never met a species that fights the way humans do. Vexathera looked at his tactical displays and his 4 eyes opened wide in shock. The screen showed thousands of human ships appearing all around his fleet, but they were not attacking. They were just there. "What is this?" Vexithara demanded. "Those are not military ships, Commander," Dr. Williams explained. "Those are cargo ships, passenger liners, research vessels, mining platforms, and tourist boats. In the past 6 days, we have turned our entire civilian space industry into the largest defense network in galactic history." Lieutenant Commander Vexkara leaned over to whisper to his boss. "Sir, our computers cannot analyze their formation. There are too many ships and they are all connected somehow. Our targeting systems do not know what to shoot at." This was true. The humans had done something impossible. Every civilian ship in their solar system was now part of one giant network. Cargo ships were sharing sensor data with research vessels. Passenger liners were coordinating with mining platforms. Even small private spacecraft were connected to the system. Captain Ron Baker was commanding his converted luxury cruise ship in the middle of this chaos. His ship, the Star Princess, was now called the UES Party Crasher. The passengers had been evacuated, but the crew had volunteered to stay. "This is absolutely crazy," said his first officer, Susan Hayes. She was looking at her navigation computer, which now showed tactical information more advanced than most military systems. "We have turned a vacation ship into a space battleship." "It gets better," Ron replied with a big grin. "According to the tactical briefing, the mining ships can create artificial gravity fields that will trap enemy ships. The research vessels can predict where the aliens will move before they do it. And the cargo ships are carrying millions of small robots that can build anything we need." All around the solar system, similar conversations were happening on thousands of ships. Humans had taken their everyday tools and turned them into weapons of war without changing what made them human. Dr. Sarah Martinez was commanding her mining operation near Jupiter. Her giant machines, which normally dug ice and rock, were now positioned to defend Earth. But Sarah was not a soldier. She was still thinking like a miner. "Team, we are going to show these aliens what human industry can do," she told her crew over the radio. "When I give the signal, I want you to move asteroid field number 7 directly into the path of their fleet." "Boss," said her assistant Mike Chen, "that asteroid field weighs about 10 billion tons. "I know," Sarah said with a smile. "Think they can move 10 billion tons of rock out of their way quickly?" Meanwhile, Dr. Jennifer Walsh was using her research equipment to scan the alien fleet. Her computers, which were designed to track millions of tiny objects in Saturn's rings, were now focused on 200 alien ships. "This is amazing," Jennifer told her team. "I can predict their movements 3 minutes before they make them. Their ships follow mathematical patterns. They are so predictable that my computer thinks they are natural objects like asteroids." "What does that mean?" asked her partner Dan Foster. "It means we can be exactly where we need to be, exactly when we need to be there. They will never surprise us because we will know what they are going to do before they do it." Back on the alien command ship, High Commander Vexthara was getting more confused by the minute. His tactical officer was trying to explain what the humans were doing, but it made no sense. "Sir, the human ships are not following any known military formation. They appear to be dancing." "Dancing?" Vexithara roared. "Yes, sir. They are moving in complex patterns that seem to serve no tactical purpose. But every time we try to target one group, another group moves to protect them. It is like they can read our minds." What the aliens did not understand was that humans were not following military tactics. They were following something much more powerful. They were following their instincts for cooperation and creativity. Captain Nick Torres, still invisible in his ship shadow, was watching everything from a safe distance. He was amazed by what he was seeing. "Grace, are you recording all this?" he asked his scanner operator. "Yes, sir," Grace Palmer replied, "but I am not sure anyone will believe it. The humans have created a space formation that should not be possible. Every ship is acting independently, but they are all working together perfectly." "How are they doing it?" Nick asked. "They are not following orders from a central command. They are following their own judgment, but they are all connected by communication networks. Each captain is making their own decisions based on what they think is best for everyone." This was the key to human success. Other species had rigid command structures. Orders came from the top and everyone else followed them. But humans were different. Every human could think for themselves and make decisions. When you connected millions of thinking humans together, you got something more powerful than any military force. On Earth, President Davidson was watching everything from the command center. She was surrounded by the best military minds on the planet, but she was not giving orders. She was just watching her people do what humans do best. "Madam President," said General Taylor, "should we tell them what to do next?" "No," the president replied. "They know what to do. We trained them their whole lives for this moment. We just never told them we were training them." She was right. Every human in space had spent their lives learning to solve problems, work with others, and adapt to new situations. Now they were using those same skills to defend their home. Admiral Morrison was amazed by what he was seeing on the tactical displays. "In 30 years of military service, I have never seen anything like this. We have created a space force that thinks like humans instead of fighting like soldiers." "What is the difference?" asked Secretary Kim. "Soldiers follow orders and fight enemies," Admiral Morrison explained. "Humans solve problems and make friends. Even when they are fighting a war, they are still trying to understand their enemies and find a better solution." As if to prove his point, something unexpected appeared on all the communication channels. The humans were sending a message to the alien fleet, but it was not a threat or a demand for surrender. It was an invitation to a party. Dr. Williams appeared on the screens, again still sitting in his comfortable chair. "Commander Vexithara, we have been thinking about this situation and we have a proposal for you. Instead of fighting, why do not you and your officers come visit our lunar station? We would like to show you something that might interest you. We have prepared a cultural exchange event. There will be food, music, and presentations about both our species. We think you might find it educational." Vexithara stared at the message in complete disbelief. In 300 years of conquest, no species had ever invited him to a party in the middle of a war. The invitation included detailed instructions on how to get to the lunar station, what to expect when they arrived, and even dietary information, in case the aliens had special food requirements. For the first time in his life, High Commander Vexithara had no idea what to do next. High Commander Vexithara sat in his command chair staring at the human invitation. In 300 years of military service, he had conquered 17 worlds. Every single time, the conquered species had either surrendered immediately or fought desperately until they were destroyed. No one had ever invited him to a party. "This is highly irregular," muttered Sub-Commander Zilthak as he read the formal invitation on his screen. "They want us to attend what they call a first contact celebration on their moon base." The invitation was unlike anything in the Empire's databases. It included cultural information, language guides, dietary preferences, and even suggestions for appropriate gifts to exchange. The humans had treated a war declaration like a social event. "Sir," said the tactical officer, "what are your orders? Do we attack their moon base?" Vexithara looked at his displays. The human ships were still surrounding his fleet in their impossible formation. They had not fired a single shot, but somehow they had made his entire invasion force useless. His weapons could not target them effectively, because they moved like a living thing instead of a military formation. "We will go to this meeting," Vexithara decided. "I want to understand what these humans think they are doing." Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the reception bay of Luna Station, watching the alien shuttle approach through the giant windows. The moon base had been quickly converted into a place for the most important meeting in human history. Beside him, Dr. Claire Johnson was making final notes on her tablet. "Remember," Dr. Johnson said quietly, "our analysis shows that their entire society is based on fear and domination. They control other species by making them too scared to resist. They have never encountered a species that responds to threats with friendship. So this could either be the greatest diplomatic success in history, or we might accidentally break their minds," Morrison replied. "Probably both," Dr. Johnson said with a small smile. When the alien shuttle landed, High Commander Vexithara and 12 of his officers stepped out. They were all wearing their most impressive uniforms and carrying weapons that were meant to intimidate anyone who saw them. They expected to find human military leaders waiting to negotiate surrender terms. Instead, they found something that had never existed anywhere in the galaxy. The humans had prepared a celebration that was part diplomatic meeting, part cultural exchange, and part demonstration of human society. The reception hall was filled with humans from every part of Earth society. There were scientists and artists, engineers and teachers, farmers and pilots. Children were running around playing games while their parents talked with visitors from other countries. Music was playing from speakers hidden in the walls. President Davidson walked up to the alien delegation with a warm smile. She was not wearing a military uniform or formal diplomatic clothes. She was wearing a simple dress that her grandmother had made for her. "Commander Vexithara, welcome to Luna Station," she said. "I hope you will forgive our unusual response to your ultimatum. You see, humans have never been very good at following standard procedures." Vexithara's enhanced senses were being overwhelmed by something he had never experienced before. Every human in the room was broadcasting emotions that his psychic amplifiers could detect. But instead of fear or anger, he was sensing curiosity, excitement, and genuine friendliness. "This is not how wars are supposed to work," he managed to say. "But this is not a war," replied Dr. Williams, appearing beside the president. "This is a first contact situation. You see, Commander, you have been thinking about this all wrong. We are not enemies to be conquered. We are potential friends." As the evening continued, the aliens experienced something completely outside their understanding. Human children performed songs that included melodies from the alien homeworld. Scientists presented research that could benefit both species. Engineers discussed technology sharing that could advance both civilizations. Dr. Henderson approached Commander Vexithara with genuine enthusiasm. "Your people's work with space-time manipulation is remarkable," he said. "But I think your expansion strategy has some inefficiencies. Our economic models show that cooperative trade relationships produce about 300% more benefit than conquest." For the first time in his career, Vexithara found himself actually thinking about alternatives to the only system he had ever known. The real surprise came when Captain Torres presented his tactical analysis of the alien fleet. But instead of using it as a threat, he offered it as a gift. "We learned a lot about your technology this week," Torres explained to the assembled alien officers. "Your shield harmonics are very impressive, but we found 17 ways to make them more efficient. We would be happy to share this information as part of a friendship agreement." Sub-Commander Zilthak looked confused. "You are giving us military intelligence that could be used against you?" "Why would we use it against you?" Torres asked. "We want to be friends. Friends help each other." The evening included demonstrations of human art, music, food, and technology. But the most important part was something the aliens had never seen before. They watched humans from completely different backgrounds working together as equals. Farmer from Kansas was having an animated discussion with a quantum physicist from Tokyo about soil chemistry and particle behavior. A musician from Brazil was teaching alien officers how to play simple Earth instruments. Children from around the world were drawing pictures of alien spaceships and giving them as gifts. Commander Vexithara found himself talking with Dr. Johnson about Zephyrian culture and history. She was asking questions that no one had ever asked him before. "What do your people do for fun?" she asked. Vexithara had to think about this. "Fun? Yes. What makes you happy? What do you do when you are not working?" He realized he did not have an answer. In the Empire, everyone worked all the time. There was no concept of doing things just because they were enjoyable. "We do not have time for such things," he said finally. Dr. Johnson looked sad. "That sounds very lonely." The word hit Vexithara like a physical blow. Lonely. He had never heard that word before, but somehow he understood exactly what it meant. For 300 years, he had been surrounded by soldiers and subjects who obeyed him out of fear. He had never had a friend. The moment that changed everything came when Dr. Johnson told a joke. It was a simple joke about the differences between humans and aliens, but it was designed to work across species barriers. When she finished, something unprecedented happened. High Commander Vexithara laughed. It started as a small sound, almost like a cough. But then it grew into something bigger. Other aliens began laughing too. Soon the entire delegation was making sounds that their species had not made in centuries. The humans realized they were witnessing the first time these aliens had experienced joy in their adult lives. 3 months later, the Galactic Zephyrian Empire announced the most significant change in its 3,000-year history. High Commander Vexithara, now calling himself President Vexithara, declared that the Empire would become a cooperative federation of worlds. "We have learned that friendship is more powerful than fear," he announced to the galaxy. "The humans taught us that there are better ways to live than conquest and domination." Earth became the capital of the new federation, not because humans had the strongest military, but because they were the only species anyone had met who could turn an invasion into a friendship. The change spread throughout the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Other species that had been conquered by the Empire were freed and invited to join the Federation as equals. Planets that had hidden from the Empire for centuries came forward to make contact. Within a year, the galaxy had transformed from a place of fear and conquest to a community of cooperation and mutual aid. In his final report to the Galactic Council, President Vexithara wrote something that became famous throughout the galaxy. Recommendation to all species considering contact with humans: do not attempt to conquer them. They will respond by trying to be your friend, and resistance to human friendship appears to be impossible. They are the most terrifying species in the galaxy and also the most wonderful. Years later, when young aliens asked their elders about the Great War that never happened, they would smile and say, "That was the day we learned that the best way to win a war is to invite your enemies to dinner and make them laugh." The humans taught us that the universe is much more fun when everyone is friends. And throughout the galaxy, whenever conflicts arose between different species, diplomats would ask a simple question that had become the foundation of galactic peace. What would the humans do? The answer was always the same. They would find a way to make everyone friends. Earth had conquered the galaxy not with weapons or threats, but with something much more powerful. They had conquered it with kindness, curiosity, and an absolute refusal to believe that any problem could not be solved by people working together. The aliens had come to Earth expecting to find another species to dominate. Instead, they found teachers who showed them a better way to live, and the galaxy was never the same again.